This week in gaming news, Ubisoft taught us the inner complexities of how a grenade works, that old ladies really can kick ass, Vikings really like to burn things down, and Ready Player One probably shouldn't be turned into a video game. All this and more on this episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. Let's get into it.
I love gaming.
Welcome to the We Love Gaming podcast. I'm Godly Sovereign.
Hey guys, it's Markariah.
What's up? This is Ray, aka SirKnight.
And Ubisoft, they just dropped a little event, and there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs Legions, Far Cry 6. Let's talk about Watch Dogs Legions first.
Yeah, so jumping right into Legions, it's pretty. I didn't play much of the first two Watch Dogs games, so just looking into it, I like the fact that you could recruit multiple operatives, and each operative kind of has a different gameplay. They show the construction worker where you're shooting a nail gun, you're flying on a drone.
Well, let me ask you this, Mark. What did you think of the world?
So it takes place in London. London's under attack. It kind of reminded me of like a little bit of what was that game by Ubisoft? The Divisions 2.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
It kind of reminded me of Divisions 2.
Did it look good to you?
It looked great. The graphics
okay.
were good. It didn't look amazing, but
Right.
it looked polished. It looked like a AAA game. But I like the operative feature. So you could recruit different characters. So each like mission, you can kind of approach it a different way. So I kind of like that. It does have some additional replayability in that regards.
Right.
Do you know a whole lot about the hacking system in Watch Dogs? Have you looked into that at all?
Not too much.
Okay.
Do you
That's a
wanna
big
elaborate?
aspect.
Do you want to
too.
elaborate on that?
Yeah. Like the primary focus of Watch Dogs has always been to hack, right?
Right. That's their specialty,
right,
their forte.
that's a
That's what
specialty.
they've decided to put it all around.
It's the forte. Like that's the whole premise, right? Is like you're hacking gates, you're hacking computers, you're hacking cameras, you're collecting intel with all that hacking, and then you're using it to infiltrate a building or whatever and take whatever you're there to kill or take whatever you need, right? So this looks identical. To me, the hacking looks pretty much identical to Watch Dogs 1 and 2. I don't see any...
I believe that they did change like a couple of things. Probably what's more available to be hacked.
Right.
But as far as the same process and how they went about doing it, yeah, you're right. It's exactly the same.
I was hoping for a little more innovation in that realm. Because it's a little bit played. Like I've played Watch Dogs 1, I've played Watch Dogs 2, so I was looking for a little bit more innovation on the hacking, a little more next gen-y, I guess.
Okay.
I know this is going to be on, current gen and not the next gen consoles.
Right.
But I was hoping for something a little bit more innovative this time around. They tried to do that with the operatives mechanic.
You're talking about adding the different people in?
Yeah, I'm not sold on that yet. I don't know. I just don't know. Like I like having my dude that I'm working on, that I'm building, that I'm making stronger.
You want
that
it to
I'm
be
collecting.
RPG.
Yeah, I like the RPG. I don't know how that fits into this new Watch Dogs, this Legion. But I do think it's creative. Like what they did with the operatives, I think is very creative. I think giving you multiple like classes right to play is kind of cool. I was thinking like how many classes could there possibly be, right? Like
same thing.
Is it every human being has like their own unique class? They probably have to fall into like a group, right? Like there's probably like I don't know how many classes there are, but it can't be hundreds, right?
So I think there's like 6 different types.
Okay,
of,
they're calling
like,
it types.
the hackers or whatever, the people that be in your legion.
Right.
So there's some people that are literally just melee fighters. They're brute
Right.
force. There's some that are really good with arsenal. There's people that are really good with hacking, but there's like 3 different types of hacking or something like that. So I think there's a couple of like 1 or 2 other ones, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. But it just allowed you to give it like versatility. I think there's probably one that's a little bit more stealthier than the others or whatnot. But
yeah, it's just like because if it's gonna fall into 6 types, that means every citizen in the community or in the city is gonna be into one of those 6 types, right? Like They may all look different, but they're going to fall into those 6 types. Okay, well, that makes sense. I don't know if that's enough variety for me, 6 types. I was hoping for a little bit more, I guess, openness, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go to a person, it's going to be pretty unique. Like every person's going to be a pretty unique experience. It sounds like it might be a little more bottlenecked than that.
I mean, you wouldn't want it too wide, right? Because then it would be like way too many options. It would kind of be confusing as like to where to even begin. Wouldn't you think?
I don't want it too wide, but just a little more spontaneity, right? A little bit more where like it's kind of a little more, spontaneous, the kind of person that I'm picking.
So would you rather it be like a person who's like a blank slate and then you choose the route you want them to go, or would you rather them have acquired these skills?
I like the way
life
it is. I like the acquired skill through. Like I like how you go to the construction worker and he uses, like Mark said, the nail gun or his construction tools.
Right.
Like there are so many walks of life, right? Like that'd be cool if there was a teacher class, right? You find a teacher and she uses yardsticks or whatever. I don't know. Or you go and you find a businessman, he uses his briefcase. Just a little bit more spontaneity where it feels a little bit more organic, rather than like so rigid. Oh no, he's gonna fall into only one of 6 types. And that's kind of it. Yeah. I'm not saying I want a lot, but I think 6 might be a little too low than what I was hoping for as far as class types.
I hear you. Yeah, for me, right, Watch Dogs Legions is, a whole new concept. Watch Dogs 1 and 2, it was normally about one person.
Right.
And you got to level up that one person and then gradually, acquire different skills and techniques to be able to do your task, which was normally considered to be after one person that you were trying to reach, and then you decimate them at the end, and then end of the story or whatever. I think with this option to have a legion, so to speak, of people, different options, it allows for people's creativity and for a uniqueness, you know what I mean? Like I think I heard somebody saying that they wanted a team of like grandmas, just out there just like hacking stuff and doing different things or whatever. So I like that aspect because it makes it feel like the game isn't just like set in stone and there's one way to play it. It's a whole bunch of unique ways. They added the different ways to enter into a building or to attack a situation, right? And we saw this already from Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed. What was it, Unity or something like that? What was the one that had like the different assassins that you guys could get together?
Oh, that was Unity. You could play together, right?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of like that aspect.
So it's gonna be multiplayer like that?
I don't know if it's multiplayer like that. Okay. But I'm just saying like the fact that you have different bodies, associated with this, and technically this is supposed to be like a real life, breathing world. So once you leave your operative to go and control another operative, you're able to come back to them and they're doing something totally different. So it's kind of like GTA 5. When you leave somebody, you know what I mean, and then I can't remember one of the guys' names, but you come back to them, they're like,
you swap between the 3
whatever,
different
you know what I mean. So it's like they've been living their own life.
That's kind. I like when GTA
cool,
did
right?
that. Yeah, it might be cool if that does this too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think I would just approach every mission as John Wick. Like, wasn't that cool? That got like John Wick class. Like,
you just want to shoot up everything.
Blow kneecaps out, and drop them on the ground. Like that'd be kind of sweet. My only hope, I guess, ultimately with Watch Dogs Legion, is that there's some feeling like I'm a part of it. Right, because I don't want it to just be me controlling other individuals. There's some type of building for me, like whether it be a base that I'm building, and that's
like
me, that's my goal,
like
that's mine, that's what I'm taking control of. Right, like a hub. Yeah, like I hope there's something there that incorporates me as the individual that I feel invested too.
I feel like there was like an AI that was incorporated into the gameplay. Something that was giving information or whatnot to people, but I feel like you would potentially be like the orchestrator. Like, you're the main like Legion person and you're putting everybody together. You're bringing everybody together and you're giving them the tasks that you want them to do. And stuff like that. So I feel like you would be like the orchestrator.
As long as there's something I'm building for me. Yeah. That's what I want.
Yeah, one thing I liked from the trailer was when they went to the operative that was like he worked for what was the corporation? You know, the bad corporation that took over.
InfoSec or something like that.
Yeah, whatever that
Yeah.
corporation was, they noted that, if you want to recruit this guy.
DedSec is the group that they fight for.
Right. Okay.
What's the other
started
group?
with the A. It was like Albion or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think it's Albion. I think it is.
That sounds like
Yeah, I think it
Assassin's
is actually
Creed.
something. No, yeah, maybe not. Maybe it is.
Something with the A.
Go ahead,
Anyways,
Mark.
when they said when they recruit, if you recruit, you can recruit workers from the other side, but it's very difficult.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm interested to see, like, are people on the street, if is there some, if they have good abilities, are they harder to
acquire,
recruit,
like the assassins?
yeah. So I'm interested to see how that plays into the game. But I am with you guys on, I wish there's a little bit more than 6 kind of types, because it'd be cool to try to recruit everyone and see their strengths and weaknesses.
Kind of like Pokemon, right? Like, I'm gonna. What does this
You
one
wanna catch
do?
them all?
Yeah,
You want to catch them all, right?
You have an incentive to
That's
see
kinda
them
like
all.
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Like,
You have an incentive
I
to
wonder
see them
what.
all.
Yeah, what does
Yeah.
this guy do?
But
But when
I
it falls into 6 types, you kind of know. Oh, I know what this is gonna be like, and it takes a little bit of the joy out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I hear what
Yeah.
you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Like if it was like a gotta catch them all kind of thing.
Yeah.
How dope! But that would be a cool idea.
All right, so on a scale of like first day cop,
Right.
maybe I'll wait on it, or
never.
ain't for me. Like, how do you guys feel about Watch Dogs Legions with what you've seen so far?
I haven't, sadly, like I mentioned, played the first or the second one. So this one's a borderline never cop, but I may get it at some point, depending on when we see more gameplay, when we see more footage of it. When I watch some people on Twitch, it does look like it has some replayability with the collecting the operatives, so I like that aspect.
So first look, it hasn't even enticed you enough to like want to buy it.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the Division 2 to me. I liked the Division 2 a lot, but I wasn't super hyped like a couple of other games I saw from Ubisoft. So
Okay.
Dude, I think you're nailing it, dude. Like, I think the perspective of someone who's never played the first 2, and I kind of think about that, like Godly Sovereign. Like,
Right.
if you had never played Watch Dogs before and you watched that trailer, would that be like, oh, I can't wait to play that? I don't think so. I think like if we go back to E3 and we watch the original Watch Dogs 1 trailer, that was incredible, right? Because it's like it was this open world. You felt like you had complete control. It was a new idea.
Yeah, it showed you how you were like hacking into people's phones, into their bank accounts. You were
Their
blowing
lives.
things up with just your phone, your cell phone. So we had
never seen that.
Yeah, the
And you're
trailer itself made it look like it was
I gotta
a
get
great
this.
game.
Yeah, I gotta get
Right.
this. And now that we've done this now for the 3rd time, right? It wasn't as unique and innovative
Is it 'cause
as
it's just
that
like
one
we've
was.
seen it
And
before?
so like I think for me it's because I've seen it before, but even someone, I think if I look at it from the perspective of having never played Watch Dogs 1 or 2,
Right.
and I watch that and I go, I don't know, right? Like it's almost expecting that you have played it before. But I think about Stone, like that you already know how much fun it is,
Yeah.
and this is the new thing.
Like,
but
you
if
know what
you're-
it is. Here's the different variation.
Yes, here's the different variation where
I
you
got
have
you.
people like Mark who's never played it before ever, and I don't think that trailer did enough justice to that game or even that world to get you excited about it. So I totally get why you're at kind of a never buy right now. It didn't pull you. It didn't make a new. People like Marcus and I are going to buy it because we know Watch Dogs is fun because we played the first and the second. But I totally get. I'm at a point where I'm kind of at a buy at some point.
You know
I'm
what?
not a day one.
I agree with you on that one. I feel like the presentation for Watch Dogs Legion was all about showing you how the Legion,
Right.
like why we call it Legion.
Right.
So it's just showing you that, hey,
An
you
army.
can potentially go out there and grab anybody on the street and bring them into DedSec and then have them work on your team. It's just about what skills they'll have and whatnot. So I felt like they definitely had decided to structure every trailer specifically towards that. So,
Right.
on that note, because it is something that I've seen before,
Right.
and I didn't even get a chance to play Watch Dogs 2. I did tune into the Ubisoft event, but their
It was like
webpage
free
was
on
like all
PC right
jacked
now,
up.
I think, or something.
Yeah, their
like that.
webpage was like all jacked up. But if anybody was able to go to it after the fact, I think they gave you like about 4 or 5 days where you could sign up and like register, and they just give it to you, like even if you didn't watch the event or whatever. But it was for PC, so it's like I don't play PC like that, so I would have much preferred it had been on your console
Right.
of choice. That would have been great.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that.
They definitely made it accessible. It's fun. I had a lot fun with it. I think I enjoyed Watch Dogs 1 a little bit more because I think it was innovative then and it was new and special. 2 kind of just redid the thing all over again.
Right.
Didn't change a whole lot. And now 3, this Legion thing is cool. So for me, I might at some point. It's like, I'll cop it when it's like on sale or like used at GameStop like
might
next
get it
summer.
November.
Right? Like, next summer when I have
Black
nothing to
Friday.
play and I pick up on the stuff I didn't pick up, during the gaming season, the holiday season,
Right.
and I'll try it.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, staying in the Ubisoft events
Yeah.
that were announced, Hyperscape.
Yeah.
What do you guys
Hyperscape.
think about that?
So I thought Hyperscape at first glance, I like how it was fast paced.
Yeah.
I like the gravity. You could jump really high. You slide really fast. This is different than the other, battle royale games out there. Things are a little more realistic, and this is a more, futuristic. So I do like that. There's 3-man squads, so I wish it was a little bigger, because I think that's kind of limiting. Things like Call of Duty Warzones, it's a little more flexible. There's a lot of different queues. You could go, solos, duos, trios, quads. This is just 3-man only.
Apex Legends, right?
Apex.
It's like team based, like Apex, right?
similar
'Cause
like
Apex is
Apex.
Perfect for We Love Gaming.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Squad deep already.
We should get into
Yeah.
Apex Legends. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but anyways, I thought it looked good. I like the fast pace. I like the the rocket launchers, which is different than other battle royales. But yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. What did you think of it, Golly Sovereign?
So I was actually a little excited for this one, right? So I'm
interesting.
not really, I
I would
don't
never
really
have
care
thought
too
that.
much for battle royale games, but I am trying to get into Twitch streaming more, right? So I need something that's playable, but
new.
it's interactive a little bit more, And this game was literally made for Twitch, so it allows for viewers that are on Twitch to make a decision in the game that you're playing in, whether they want to add something new like an aspect of the battle or drop items down there for people
That's really
to
cool.
fight over or whatever.
It's
so
really neat.
it's extremely interactive. So
Right.
this requires for viewers and the player to work together and make it like even more entertaining. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it might already be entertaining to watch your favorite player or something like that play the game.
Right. And
But
wreck.
the fact that you have the option to go into their stream and then potentially change like the layout of the way the game is played, I think that sounds really interesting. It sounds like everybody's going to be on their toes. It sounds like it could be something that could be really fun to play. And so that's why I was kind of interested in playing it. I've been looking for it because I had seen people were playing it, but I guess they got like beta access and whatnot.
How
and it's gonna release.
influential can the audience be on your game? Can they spoil your game?
So it's like a vote system. So basically, I guess like at certain points in time during the battle or whatever, there'll be a voting that comes up, and it'll say like, would you rather them play like all grenades or unlimited bullets?
Oh, so you're affecting the whole game.
Yeah, you're affecting the entire
individual
game. Yeah, you're not
person.
just affecting
Okay.
like one person, but
Okay.
you're able to change like how everybody is playing the game at that point in time.
Okay.
Because like, somebody may have been like way conservative, in the outskirts, just trying to survive the minimizing circles or whatever with their bullets. But then everybody decides like, we're gonna go unlimited, and then he's just out there. Just running and gunning. And it
like
doesn't
that.
matter. You just squeezing
Yeah.
the trigger, letting
That
loose.
is-
It
that
doesn't
is
matter
cool.
who's getting it. So yeah, I think those different aspects that could potentially be in the game and used and whatnot could make it a really entertaining game for somebody such as myself, who one sucks at first person shooters and just doesn't play battle royales like that. Like you couldn't pay me enough to play Fortnite. It's just not
me
in my-
neither. I know everyone loves Fortnite.
I just don't want to play it. And I've never gotten into the Apex Legends.
Apex
for
looks
one.
a little bit more my cup
Apex
of
is
tea.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I was watching some people over the past couple of days and trying these Twitch features.
Mhm.
I do like on Twitch, it's super clean. It's just a little bar overlay. I was able to kind of pick a streamer that I wanted to kind of follow, and based on how many kills and their performance, I kind of earned some sort of
rewards.
rewards or currency for
Okay.
my account. So it was kind of cool that you can kind of have like, from the Twitch streamer perspective, based on your performance, you could kind of gain some potential followers. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you're getting like bad coin bonuses or something like that because you're surviving longer or something like that.
So the better you play, the more followers you get.
It was like based on how many kills they got in a particular round, I got something. So it was kind of
that.
It was kind of cool because it gave me an incentive to watch this person because I want to see how they do. Also, the voting aspect was pretty cool. I didn't really know all the different abilities, so I was just kind of clicking whatever I thought. And then it tells you what percentage of people voted a particular way. So I thought that was pretty neat. It's something we haven't seen much of.
The coin thing I don't like, or the currency thing I don't like, because someone's gonna join my stream. I suck. They're gonna leave. Like, no, I'm hunting, right? I'm fishing for the guy that's gonna give me the most value for my watch time.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I'm not gonna be able to provide that because I'm not good.
And maybe
right?
that's
so it's just
going
to consolidate everyone on the top big streamers channels. So I think there's some issue for me there. It's a problem for me. I'd rather it just be generic, not ways to improve the user's own account, because then it's just going to bottleneck everyone into the best player's account, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would they watch me when they can go over to Ninja and collect big banks and I ain't giving them nothing, right?
Yeah,
so that's a problem for me.
Maybe there's something that could be possibly presented to them in that aspect, like new streamers that have like 0 followers. Like, how can you gain more followers and entice me to want to play this game more? Or do I just realize like, okay, I'm not going to get any followers and I'm like okay at the game, so like I'm not going to really invest much time in it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
For me, this reminded me of Overwatch. Very similar to Overwatch. It is cool that it's a 3-player game, which, we love gaming. What's up? It seemed very fast paced.
Yeah.
So for me, it seemed like there's a high skill cap. So that's a little concerning. Like, it's going to be just harder. Like, it's going to take more skill. Like, there's lots of maneuverability, lots of mobility, jumping skyscrapers. It's kind of cool, right? Like, maybe that's cool. Like, if I'm bad, I can escape easier. I have no idea. But so it seemed very twitchy, right? So you have to be very fast, very quick. All those things kind of concern me when it comes to trying to get into a new game. I don't also need, which is why I was asking how influential can the audience. I don't also need the audience, throwing a wrench at me when I'm just trying to figure this out already, right? And it goes back to the whole MOBA experience where everyone dumps their lives into these games that it becomes so hard for a person to enter into the realm and have a good time, right? Because you just get wrecked all day. So those are my concerns. I can see the fun, though. Like, when I watch the trailer, I can see the fun of this game. I can see how young people who love the Twitch, they want, faster, right? I remember when I was younger and I was playing Call of Duty, I always wanted to equip the perk that let me run forever, right? I wanted to move faster. I wanted to get into the action faster. Right. So I can see how this is meaning, run away faster. Yeah. This is like, I see these aspects in this game that I think are fun for a younger audience. I've mellowed out, right? I'm more like a single player, take my time, creep slowly through the world, figure things out, not having to worry so much and have my adrenaline pumping. But this is an adrenaline pumping game. I think it's cool. It looks exciting. I see why it'd be fun. And jumping in with friends might be a lot of fun, but those are my hesitations, right? High skill cap, right? Can I gain an audience, or is this going to go all the big streamers, right? And how fun is it going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I checked this game this morning. Just to see how many people were playing it. I know it's kind of early on Saturday, but East Coast, it's people are playing.
Yeah, they're.
It only had about 6,000, 7,000 followers. So on the first day, there's over 100,000 viewers, and right now it's about 6-7K. So to put that into perspective, Smite, we used to play that from came out in 2013. It had more.
Still play it.
It has more followers
today
this morning than a brand new game. So the only bad thing about these battle royales is I feel like it's the MOBA syndrome 5 years ago. There's so many that come out and flood the market.
It just
oversaturation, right?
And there's a couple that always hold the market, that hold everyone's attention, and then there's all these games. So I don't know if these Twitch features are enough to innovate this, to make this game have a lasting effect. It is cool. It is new, but I think at the end of the day, it might be a little on the gimmicky side, because based on the gameplay we saw, it wasn't anything amazing.
Yeah, it
looked
wasn't
a lot
anything
of,
crazy.
It looked a lot of fun, and it's a
Right.
free game. So at the end of the day, we'll all try it.
Yeah.
Nothing to
So-
lose.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's gonna like keep me from really playing a lot of it is gonna be whether I can play it on my PlayStation or not. If it's just strictly PC, then it's gonna be a little bit.
So it's my understanding that it's going to be cross-platform. It's
Okay,
also
so it's on all
cross progression. So if you're playing
Nice.
your Xbox and you want to switch over to your PC, you still
Carries over.
it's completely cross progression. So I like that feature. I love when games do that.
Okay.
It's not cross-platform yet, though.
No,
Okay.
I think right now
It's
it's
about
not.
as cross-platform
PC.
as
Yeah.
Minecraft Dungeon.
Yeah. So I assume it will be at some point. But right
Yeah.
now, I believe it's just the beta's on PC and it's just
Okay.
PC.
All right, so yeah, moving on with the Ubisoft events, right? Assassin's Creed Valhalla. How are we feeling about that? This is the second time we've seen it. So we got a
Right.
little bit more information. So what are we thinking?
So for me, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in a very long time.
What was the last one you played?
What was it? Black Flag? What were the pirate one?
The greatest one ever.
The greatest one.
Okay.
Black Flag.
Black
Okay,
Yeah.
Flag.
so I
That's
played that
it.
one, and that one was fantastic. Then I took a break. I didn't play. What was the last one? Origins, Odyssey.
Origins Odyssey.
Yeah.
So
there was also the other one that was like in London.
Yeah,
I forgot
Syndicate.
what that one. Yeah, Syndicate.
Yeah,
So-
it actually went Black Flag. Unity came after Black Flag, right?
No, I think
Brotherhood
Unity
or-
was before, or something like that.
I think it came after. No, it came after.
Okay.
Unity came after because everyone was mad they got rid of the ocean.
Okay.
And it went back
yeah,
to
yeah.
land base,
Then they
right?
went to Rogue.
And then it went Rogue, which was Xbox only, right? Or past generation only,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they brought. I would like to actually play that one
They
because I
brought
think
it
it
back.
mirrors Black Flag
It was
the
the
most.
same thing as Black
Same
Flag,
thing. And then you had Syndicate, and then they reimagined AC. They reimagined the whole series
Okay.
and made Origins, right?
Okay.
Completely
and then you got
reimagined.
Odyssey.
And then you got Odyssey. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
So yeah, so the past two themes, I think was Origins in Egyptian.
Yes, Origin was Egypt.
So I wasn't super fan of that style. I did watch a lot of gameplay people on Twitch. I like the openness. So going to Valhalla, I like the Norse theme. I like the world. It's beautiful looking. I like the weaponry. I like the big map. I like the landscapes. Everything looks up my alley. I like the combat. I like so far everything I saw was cool. I like you can use Odin's vision to kind of see through walls and just kind of see through things. I like you can take
Yeah, I like how
the
they give you an
fly.
explanation for that ability.
Yeah.
Right, because in a lot of Assassin's Creed games, like, I can see through walls. All right.
they're still
But-
trying
and
to
they give
add
you
a
an
little bit of
explanation, right?
mythical
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, as long as there's an explanation,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's supernatural, just give me how am I able to do this, right?
Yeah.
So that was neat. I like you can fly as a bird and get like a bird's eye view.
Yeah, they've
scout
had that in
things.
all the last ones. Since
Okay,
Origin.
so
yeah,
that's a newer
Yeah.
feature.
yeah.
So I like the large map. So I was watching some videos and they're barely, scouting one area, and they said, they got hours of just that area. They did an overview of the map, and it was just massive. So this just looks like an awesome game to just explore and play. So I'm actually really hyped for this game.
Cool.
What about you,
Yeah.
SirKnight?
So I've played Origins and I've played Odyssey.
Okay.
I've been trying to get Gali Sovereign to play Odyssey, but he never will play it.
It's not that I will never play it. I just haven't gotten around to buying it.
Yeah, I
yet.
keep telling you.
I do wanna
I always
play it.
message you when there's deals
You said it's great.
because it's very good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like, okay, so I played Origins. That's pretty good. That's when they reimagined the whole Assassin's Creed genre and they made it an open world game.
So are we talking about like the new protagonist? It's like a different protagonist, or it's that same guy that keeps going into
It's
the
a
animatronic?
whole new protagonist. It's not the same Enzo
So that
or whatever.
storyline ended.
Yes, they're
Okay.
done with that, and even the way the game plays, like these are much more open. Like they're not like the original Assassin's Creed were open, but they're kind of linear. Like you kind of move forward to
You
a
were-
different
you were
city,
going through
you
a
move to
memory.
a different city. Yeah, you
Right.
swapped memories. This is just one open world, right? So
Okay.
Origin, there's no coming in and out to different memories in different locations.
Is there
It's
there
just
like
one
a popping,
open world.
Is there a popping in and out of the animatron, like telling two stories, like the story
lot
of
less.
the guy inside the system, and then the story of
Yes,
the guy
but
getting
very,
into the system?
but much smaller.
Okay.
Like there is, but it's much smaller,
Okay.
right? So, another big reimagining for Assassin's Creed from Origin on, so Origin and Odyssey, is the loot collecting. It's much more RPG. Like you have specific loot slots, right? Your head, your shoulder, your chest, your weapons, bracers, and you're going around collecting these pieces of gear.
Okay.
And you can get different levels of rarity. So just like Borderlands, like it's super similar to Borderlands.
really?
You have the epic, you have the legendaries, you have
They
the,
flipped that. They changed that entirely.
Yeah, it's completely reimagined.
Before you
damage
should
numbers
just have
and
your
things
stuff.
like that.
Damage numbers.
So
It's all
that's cool.
completely reimagined.
Okay.
So that was super fun. I love the openness. I love collecting. Like we've talked about this hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And so Origins was good, and you had the eagle, so you can kind of like look down and
Like a
you
scouter.
know, scout your guys
Nice.
ahead of time, so you can see where they're at. Odyssey's is just better. Odyssey to me is just flat better than Origins, and I liked Origins. Odyssey is just flat better because it has the sailing, so it's more like Black Flag.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have like a whole world that you're sailing on your boat. So you have
that
your
one's
boat
in like
to upgrade.
Greece, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Greece. Yep. So you have like basically all the Greek isles, right? Athens, all of it. It's so enormous. It's so stinking cool how big it is, like Odyssey is.
Yeah.
And you're just island hopping, right? You're hopping from one island to the next, and there's things to find and things to explore. You have like a huge assassin list. Like you have a big kill list.
Okay.
And like you get hints. So what you do is you go to like a location, you talk to a person, and they give you information on one of your hits. And the more information you compile, the more you can collect to find out where he's located, and then go.
Okay, so
and
you start
kill him.
pinpointing a certain area,
Yes, you
and
start-
then it's
exactly.
like, okay, it's this block
Yep.
radius, and then all right, it's in this building.
And then to the point where like, okay, I know the exact fortress he's in.
Okay.
So then I go in there, I scout it out, I find him, and what's really cool is it's super rewarding because when you do kill one of those guys, you get like a legendary piece, or you get something really cool and exciting, you know. So,
So can you tell me about those? I know in this trailer I saw some people fighting like bosses. Was there boss fights in Odyssey and Origins similar to what we saw in Valhalla?
Yes, they're not big. They're like other characters. Like I do know in Odyssey there was an arena.
oh,
And you
okay.
would go in there and you would be progression and you would fight like a
That
powerful
sounds
guy.
dope.
It was
Gotcha.
dope. And you got more rewards the higher you went up.
Did
I
you
maxed
get like?
that out.
Was it like any unique stuff that like unique gear that you could get straight from the arena?
Yeah.
That you couldn't get, and
Right.
was it any better than the other
Yeah.
stuff you could find in the world? or
Yeah,
what?
there's some good stuff in there to collect.
Okay.
Yeah, unique.
All
So
right.
you'd want to go in there and see how high you can get and how far you can get, right? So yeah, there are some characters that are a little tougher to kill. A lot of your assassin targets, though, you can just kill, right? But, you know, so which I like. You know, if you sneak up on somebody and you put a knife in their neck, they're dead, right? Like they can't keep fighting you. But there were some fights, not quite like with a health bar, like in Valhalla, where they
Yeah.
have like a health bar
Yeah,
and
it's
like
like a
you're
big boss.
fighting like an actual boss with a health bar. It's not really like that. It's
Gotcha.
more so just like you have a character that's tougher, takes
I
more
see, I
hits,
see.
and you're like battling them out. But it's not like a health bar, like a real boss.
Gotcha.
So Valhalla seems to be identical to Odyssey to me.
Okay.
To me, it looks 100%
reskinned
identical.
Odyssey?
It's a reskinned Odyssey.
Gotcha.
So
That's
this
my
is a good
opinion.
thing for you, or is
Because
it a
I
bad
really
thing?
liked Odyssey. Yes, it is a good thing because I really liked Odyssey. But to me, it's a reskin. So that's not a good thing because it's like kind of just
You've
like
already
lazy.
played it, right?
I'm excited to play it again, but yeah, I've already played it.
Right.
So yes, it's gonna be great for like Mark, right? Who's never played it. You're in for a treat, right? Because
Nice.
it's really fun. Marcus, who hasn't played Odyssey, you're in for a treat too, right? For me, I'm gonna enjoy it because it's gonna cool just to do that again. But there's some things that I was a little bit iffy on. I don't like the idea of burning villages down. Like I don't like the idea
You don't
of
like
walking
pillaging?
through. No, I don't like the idea of like burning and then it's like a village down to the ground. Like I'm
Yeah.
fine going in and like taking things, stealing things, but to burn it to the ground is a little bit too heinous for me as an individual.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, right? Because it's one thing if you're like part of a pack and you're coming to these towns and you're, you know, in mass slaughtering everybody, but you're kind of playing stealthy. It doesn't make sense to make
Right.
to do something so obvious
right,
when you're
too.
when you're assassin. It's kind of contradictory. It's like, yeah,
It's one thing in
that
there-
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's one thing in there to go fight your enemy, right? But then okay, now I'm gonna walk through. I'm gonna burn every hut down. Like these are normal people, right?
Yeah.
Like with families and kids. Like I'm not trying to burn down their whole village. Like that, I'm not getting. That didn't exist in Odyssey. In Odyssey, you're fighting the guys and the guys only. You're not walking through and burning down a whole village.
See, so that kind of sounds like they're just trying to fully encompass you in the aspect of a Viking,
right?
The Norse.
Because that's just what they did. And I
Right.
feel like at the same time, it can be like a moral system, like in any of the other games that we've played, where you had a decision, like for Fable, right? You're helping a guy move barrels and to kill rats in his warehouse. So you, as a little kid, have the option to just kill the rats and get rid of his rat problem and then leave,
Right.
or you can be a jerk and bash up all of his barrels and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so now he's at a couple of loss or whatever. So I feel like that's probably that same type of thing that they're kind of getting at. I don't think that they would force you to burn down a village if you didn't want to, but I think them giving you
I
the
hope.
option
We'll see. We'll see.
is probably there's
It
probably
looked
some
like-
type of a consequence to having that option.
It looked like the outpost method. Like that's what you did. You burned it down.
Okay.
You know, when you conquer like an outpost or
Yeah,
region
you
like
just
that, you just
torch
burned it, torch it. Yeah,
Mm.
like I didn't like
Gotcha.
that. It's kind of like in The Last of Us when you're killing somebody and they're making you mash it, and like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
really want to do that, but like they're forcing me to do it. Like they're
or
forcing me to press
like
the button and
God
do
of
it.
War, where we're fighting Zeus and you have the opportunity to constantly bash Zeus's
Yeah,
face in.
and you may not want to do that, but in order to progress the game and to keep
You
moving,
have
they're
to do the
forcing me
extra
to do
stuff.
this vicious thing.
Yeah.
Which to serve a point, I guess, is fine. Like to so just how wrong or damaging vengeance can be, right?
Yeah.
And how brutal it can be to make you hate it.
Yeah, or if you're
because they
trying to see
because they kind of want you to make you hate what you're doing,
Mhm.
which you are. But it's like I don't like that I have to do it. It's kind of like the same thing with this. Like I don't want to be the one throwing torches and burning people's villages down. Like that just for me, right?
Okay.
Is a little
Makes
bit
sense.
uncomfortable.
I got you.
But like I said, it looks very well done. It looks like a reskin of Odyssey, which
So
is
let
not
me
a bad
ask you
thing
this:
for
was
me.
there were skill trees in Odyssey and Origins similar to this?
Oh gosh, were there skill trees?
Because this I saw there's vast skill trees. There's the different types. There's like 3 different types of combat in this game.
So super hardcore RPG.
So you could progress depending on what kind
There
of
were
style
perks, I
combat you
believe,
like.
but I don't know I can't remember if it was a tree method or not. I know a lot of my power came from the affixes on my gear.
Okay.
Like certain gear had really cool, like legendary affixes that were really neat. That I remember for certain. Being excited to get those pieces of loot. I can't remember if there was like an actual tree or not.
Okay. So
Maybe
this
that's
might
new.
be a little
Yeah,
new
and
feature.
if there's more magic, like it'd be cool if I don't know if they're gonna add more like because of the Merlin
Norse magic,
aspect,
yeah.
Norse magic. That'd be cool. That'd be kind of a little
That would-
twist that
that
I'd
would
be
be kinda
excited
cool.
to play around with, like more magic.
I mean,
I don't
you
know
got,
if they're
you
doing
got
that though.
Valhalla and all that.
Yeah.
All that myth and legend.
It's
that
a
comes with
lot
that,
of myth
so.
and legend,
Yeah.
right? So they could do a lot of things. If there's magic, would be really fun. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. So, this is the second time we've seen it. So the first time we saw it, I was like, all right, cool. Assassin's Creed game. You know what I mean? I've enjoyed the Assassin's Creed series. The last one that I did play was Syndicate, and that one was cool, but I didn't play it enough, like where I was just like super enthralled with it. The last one that I really loved was Black Flag,
Right.
and I feel like if you can't beat Black Flag, like why am I really playing it?
Which is why I keep recommending Odyssey because it's super similar to Black Flag.
You told me
Yeah.
about Odyssey, and I just hadn't gotten around to it because there was just like other things that were coming out at the same time, and it's just like my time for playing games is minimal as it is.
Right.
So,
So you're
it's
stingy.
like
Yeah.
one game
Picky.
might last me 2 or 3 months.
Mhm.
I've just now started picking up more games than I
Right.
have within like the last year or so.
Right.
But the first thing that I noticed when watching this new gameplay reveal and whatnot of Valhalla was the combat. It seemed like the combat was just like way different. It seemed like it was much faster paced. It seemed like it was a bit more of a button mashing type of gameplay than with the other one. I felt like the other one was kind of like a strike and a strike.
Parry.
Yeah, like your animations didn't allow you to just mash on square or something like that and do like a bunch of combos or whatever. And then I like low key, the first thing that popped in my mind was like Neo. You know what I mean? Like when I'm looking at it, like, I saw like footage of one of the Viking guy or whatever, the main protagonist. He had two axes or whatever, and they were like throwing axes or something like that. and he was able to throw them at people, and he was doing like wide swipes and fast combos and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, that feels just like the hatchets in Neo.
Dude, him throwing
too,
the
you know?
things was really cool.
Yeah,
Throwing the axes
so-
was really cool.
Yeah, I mean that was like in Neo 2, I played with the hatchets because it was one of the most versatile weapons. It allowed you for range
Right.
as well as close combat.
So that reminded you of
And
Neo.
so that reminded me of Neo too. But everything I've seen, it looks like an Assassin's Creed game. So, you know, that's good and all. And it's going to be on next gen. So, that's like one of those things that, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, I'll try it. You know, it's been a while. And I really wanted to play Odyssey. I just never got around to playing it. I had been interested in Origins when
Right.
I saw the Egypt thing. I just never got around to playing it. And the fact that you're telling me that they went like a complete RPG
Yep.
route as
Yep.
opposed to just like upping your repertoire of skills of how you could attack a victim or something like that, and add more stealth into the equation. Now we're talking about gear pieces
Yep.
and things that can potentially make your
And
strikes
dope-
like
and
more
dope
wicked, and they
pieces.
just look good
Mhm.
or whatever. I mean, like you probably know, like, you know, the gear or whatever looks like amazing or whatnot. But
Yeah.
so adding those aspects, right? Looking at it, just seeing that it's an Assassin's Creed game, right? They haven't just made like crap games. It's just that they soured me by making Black Flag.
No, that's why. Yeah, 100%. Like Syndicate is junk, right? Compared to
Yeah.
like Black Flag,
Yeah.
and it's junk compared to these new games.
Mhm.
Like they realize that, right? Like when you played Syndicate, you're like, gosh, this is boring. I'm doing the same exact thing over and over again.
Right.
I don't feel like I have anything to do.
And essentially, Assassin's
The
Creed
s-
is the same stuff over and
The
over
story
again.
isn't good enough, right? The story's not good enough to hold me, hold my attention,
To
right?
make me wanna keep
It's
playing,
not
yeah.
like The Last of Us, right? It's like, what am I playing this game for? Just to assassinate people? Like that's not enough. I need a reason or a purpose.
Right. I agree.
Odyssey and Origins change that. They give you a reason. They give you a purpose. You're collecting loot. You know, you're killing people for a specific reason to collect an item you've been looking for. It's way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, going on with our same thing, would you guys buy this day one, wait a while, or never buy?
This is a toughie. I think it's a day one right now for me. It's close. It's close. It depends.
Is it a day one because you don't know how many actual titles will be available at day one?
That's why it's a day one.
I feel you.
Like if I rated it right now, for me, if it was just a rating, it would be probably a buy at some point.
Uh-huh.
But if there's not a whole lot to play, then I would buy it day one. So
Okay.
I'm more like what Marcus said, because it depends on how much is available that month or that week.
Exactly.
That I would put it to the side until something else came out. But it's good enough to where if there was nothing out, I would buy it and play it day one.
Right. Yeah, so I feel like that. I definitely feel like if there aren't a whole lot of titles out at this time, then it's going to be one that I get.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's going to be, it doesn't, right now, the vibe that I'm getting is not like, like with Ghost. I'm not going to download the digital copy because I don't want to wait the actual day of release to go
Right.
out and get it.
Right.
You know,
You're not
it
that
feels
hype.
like something that I will get as long as it's just, you know, if it's in the good thing, you know, like, oh, I'll go out, you know, that Friday and go grab it. But yeah, so
Depends,
it's
right?
not like that hour one, but yeah. So what about
Yeah,
you?
and for me, I think it's a buy at some point.
Yeah.
Based on some of the things I've seen and what you guys are telling me, I like the itemization. I like it's more RPG because, like I said, I haven't played it since Black Flag, so it seems like they innovated quite a bit since I've been away from the
What I
franchise.
would say is, if I had not played, like, it's really good. So, like, if this is going to be your first entry into their reimagining of
yeah.
AC, it should be pretty high on your priority scale because you'll really have a lot of fun
So
with
I
it.
always see Origins and Odyssey go on sale for cheap,
Yep.
$7.
Mhm.
$7. You need to hit me up when that
For
goes on
Origin,
7.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
And
for Odyssey.
$14, $12 for, like, Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so
I
good.
think right now they're
mean,
on sale, in fact. So I
Okay.
think I'll buy one.
buy Odyssey.
Okay, buy
If you're
Odyssey.
going to buy one, buy Odyssey.
and then
That's
just
not going
see-
to taint his play with Valhalla.
No,
if you
he'll
said
he'll
same?
like it. He'll like it. I mean,
Okay.
if I promise you'll like it, and then you'll be looking forward. This will then become a buy at some point.
Okay.
Like once you play Odyssey, it'll become a buy at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
but So you need to be playing one of those soon, though, right? So like, it is a day one in a sense for you because it's really good.
Yeah.
But once you've played Odyssey, it'll become a buy at some point for you too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So, on to the next one, right? This was like
this
the
is
coup de
the
grace,
one we
the
were
one
all
that we
waiting
were
for.
all waiting for. You know, we had like little hints from the, I guess, like the main antagonist.
Yeah.
You know what
The
I mean?
actor,
And
yeah.
the actor, and you know, it was just like exciting, and we knew something was brewing. We just didn't know exactly where they were gonna go with it. But you know, Far Cry 6. You know, like how do you feel about that, Markariah?
So just watching the trailer, it was dramatic.
Yeah, it was.
It drew you in. Unlike all these other trailers, which they were kind of passive, in my opinion. This one, straight out of the gates, you know, you hear the actor's voice, and you're like, "Whoa, hold on a second," you know, because I'm a big Breaking Bad fan. So from the second he opened his mouth, it got my attention.
Yeah.
And you know, it was so dramatic. It was short, but I feel like this trailer got everyone hyped.
It didn't need to say a whole lot.
It didn't need to say a whole lot, like you're saying. And you know, him just putting the grenade in his son's hand, you're like, what's going on? You know, you're starting to feel nervous like the son.
Did he pull the pin on that grenade?
Yeah. He's
like that grenade was live, right?
He's explaining the 4 parts of the grenade.
That's why he had to hold it the whole time to not die. But he's walking right with his son.
Yeah. So the trailer was very dramatic, and I'm hyped for this. I haven't played Far Cry since Far Cry 3. I played only the Far Cry games on PC. Okay. So this will be the first Far Cry game I get on a console.
Did you play Far Cry 3 though?
Yeah.
Like all the okay. So
you finished it. Pretty much.
Mostly. At least. Okay. So you dumped a lot of hours into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a good perspective on that game.
So I like the Far Cry games, but I just haven't played one in a very long time. But this Far Cry 6, for me, out of all the Ubisoft games I've seen, this is the one that's going to be. This is be a day one buy for me.
No matter what. Yeah.
No matter what.
Dude. So I'm a huge Far Cry fan.
Yeah.
I've played them all. Like, I know. I think the last one you played was probably 3, right? Oh,
no,
you played 4?
Far Cry 4 was the last one
And you never
I
played Primal, right?
I never got to play 5 or Primal.
Okay. So I've played them all.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of gaming experience, y'all. Like, I've played a lot of these games. Like, I maybe haven't played them all the way through. Like, I didn't beat Primal all the way to the end.
No, I really wanted to play Primal.
I didn't play 4 all the way to the end, but I've dumped a lot of hours into them. I beat 3 all the way to the end. 3 is incredible, right?
I finished 4. I don't. Did you finish 5?
I didn't finish 4 all the way through. I finished 5.
Okay.
5, there was a lot of controversy around 5 because it was like, you know, anti-religion or something that people were worried about.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed 5. I had a lot of fun with it. What I liked even more was Far Cry New Dawn. Like, that's the one that came after 5.
That was the
DLC
or something like that, right?
It's not DLC. It's a standalone game.
Okay.
But it comes off like DLC because it's in the same world.
Right.
And it's so dope, like how they did it. Like, I'm super excited about it because, like, what happens
Wait, how dope was it?
Super dope. Dope. It's dope, man. But like at the end of 5, you lose. I mean, I guess I'm spoiling.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Thanks, bro.
Spoiler warning. At the end of 5, you
low,
lose. You actually don't win.
Okay.
The enemy wins, and his goal is to nuke the world, and he nukes the world. You lose.
So
it's
that's
kind
how
of
it rolls
shocking.
into Fallout?
And that's how it rolls into New Dawn, because New Dawn starts off with you're in that world so many decades later,
you know
and
what?
now it's post-apocalyptic.
They did spoil that. I do remember them spoiling that.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone knows because everyone knew New Dawn was based off of Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
And so basically, I really liked it because when you finished Far Cry 5 and you lost, you basically got a whole new title screen. So when you went back to the title screen, it wasn't like the lush, pretty, you know, American landscape. It was all desolation.
Okay.
And you're like, dude, I want to go play in that. And then they released New Dawn, and like they gave me that's why I'm like so hype about it.
Because the story.
Yeah, they pulled me back in. I wanted to like go back into a I always wanted a post-apocalyptic Far Cry.
Yeah.
And they delivered that. And New Dawn for me, I know people didn't rate it as high as Far Cry 5. It's a little bit lower rated, but I enjoyed it more because Far Cry New Dawn had more RPG elements. You had legendary weapons to collect.
Okay.
Nice.
And they're really awesome and fun legendary weapons. Like they're like super unique. Oh my gosh, they were fun to play with.
Yeah.
And there's damage numbers, like which have never been in a Far Cry.
So you got
see
to show like
so you got to see how
really
much damage. You could see how
Okay.
much damage your weapons are doing and how much they improve from each upgrade to the next.
Yeah.
Right. So Far Cry New Dawn, like it took it to some directions that like I was really happy with. Because it wasn't as popular, I think, or as well reviewed, I don't know if they're going to follow more the Far Cry formula that was better, that was more accepted than New Dawn. But I'd prefer more of the New Dawn direction personally with the legendary weapons. And
You kind of make me want to like go and find that. Is there like a compilation one where like it has like like a greatest hits type thing where they have both of them on
it's
one? It's
really, really good. Like that transition is what was so brilliant to me. Like I commend them for doing that. You know. It was like it felt like DLC, but it was New Dawn was its own game, and you get to it was so cool to me, right? Because like I'm going back into a world I already visited, and
but you can
it's
see
cool.
all the changes.
You see it all, and like, oh my gosh, did I remember that building? And now look at it; it's overgrown with grass, like it's destroyed. And I remember fighting in that building, like so. It was like revisiting. I enjoyed it. So Far Cry 6 just like blew the lid off the top for me. That trailer was sick.
Yeah.
That guy, what's his name? The actor?
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Like
oh my god.
Right? Does that sound right? I think it is. Giancarlo.
I was mesmerized.
We'll call him Gus.
Gus. You know when like you're like mesmerized and you're kind of your mouth kind of just like drops open, and you're just kind of like shocked about what you're watching. Like
man.
he had me waiting on every word.
Yep.
Okay.
Like what's the next thing he's gonna say, right?
Yeah.
Like every word this guy had me waiting at bated breath. He had me, wow, what a performance. This is definitely the best villain performance. The Far Cry 5 villain is not very good.
Yeah.
Right, so as much as I'm talking how much I like Far Cry 5, the villain was not very good.
Okay.
Far Cry 3 villain
was pretty good.
Was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a villain of that caliber yet since Far Cry 3, and this seems like, and once again, it's from the Breaking Bad cast, right? The same guy that was in Breaking Bad for Far Cry 3, they grabbed another character from Breaking Bad.
Oh, really? Wait, who was the guy? Who was the boss?
I can't remember, but he was in Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they went back to that.
That's
crop
awesome.
of actors.
They just pulled another guy.
Pulled another actor from
He's
that
like,
crop.
hey, you want?
And he's killing it. I mean, man, he was scary. He was frightening. He was interesting. Like, I actually wanted to hear what he had to say, as scary as he was. Like he had me intrigued. I mean, wow. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard the news, right, of who was going to be playing the villain, I was like, oh man, that's awesome, because I really enjoyed him as, the quote unquote villain,
right,
in Breaking Bad, right? And so, just like watching the trailer for the first time, I was like, wait, is this a game? Like I thought that it was like real life, because it looked just so damn good on there. Like it looked like him. Like there was no mistaking it. That was him. And I couldn't tell whether like, it was like certain light stuff, but it was just like, damn, like, is this like live action, or is this really him in the game talking like this? Yeah. And then, all the other stuff, comes around, this little like life lesson and this test that he's giving his son.
Cruel, gross, disgusting life lesson, right?
It's just nuts. Like you can tell he's about that life, right? He's been doing this, and he's just trying to see if his son has the same gumption as him. So he gives him, the fact that he gives him like a live grenade, you know what I mean?
It's insane.
It's like, okay, are you gonna toss it in there to kill this crowd of protesters, or are you gonna be pacifist? You know what I mean? Like that was just.
But he can't. He has to decide.
Right.
Because you can't hold the grenade forever.
Yeah, it's gonna blow us up. You gotta toss that, or you gotta toss it the other way.
Or you kill them.
Yeah. So I mean, I just thought that the trailer was awesome. I loved the way everything looked. It looked like they could possibly doing like some real type of cinematic stuff here. and I'm just excited to see like what they're gonna do with Far Cry 6. I definitely love all of the Far Cry games, even if they happen to be the same type of stuff, because I just love the tomfoolery that you could do in Far Cry. You know what I mean? They left the imagination open in that game. So, you know, looking at 4, the last one that I played, I did want to play 5. You make me want to go and buy 5 and New Dawn. And then I really wanted to play Primal because I wanted the interactions with the animals and stuff like that.
Right.
So doing all of that stuff, I definitely am waiting for this game.
Yeah.
This is what I'm waiting for. Okay, so with that being said, right, does this look like a day one, like first buy, yeah, I'm copping it, whatever? Like, how does this feel for you guys? I'm just going to jump out of the gate with me. Like, definitely this one, like with COVID, whatever, if I'm not able to secure a game copy that I can pick up at 9 o'clock,
downloading.
I'm digital downloading this. Like, I'm in there.
This is hour 1 for you.
It's been a while since I played a Far Cry, and the only reason that I didn't pick up like Primal and Far Cry 5 is just it's this mental thing in mind. It's like, if it's been out for like a long time, why should I be paying like $50 for this game? Like, I'm waiting until it hits 10, and then I'm buying it. So
Far
that's
Cry
the only
5
reason why
is
I
super
didn't.
cheap right now, just so you know. On PS.
Okay,
PS,
excellent.
Yeah, it's super cheap right now.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, this is a day one buy for me. Out of all the titles we've seen last week from Ubisoft, it's day one for me.
Yeah, dude, this is for sure day one. Super excited, super pumped for this game. Like, I'm like Marcus, like I'm probably doing hour 1 on this. I was so, aching for it. I went and did more research to try to find some gameplay. Like, if any gameplay at
If
least.
they had anything that slipped out.
I saw a few screenshots, and
Okay.
it makes me think they're doing the legendary weapons, because he or her, because you can choose your character, was holding like a really interesting looking weapon. It wasn't like a standard looking gun. Like, it was like a really interesting looking gun.
Okay.
Like, it looked like maybe the blade launcher or something from New Dawn, which was super fun. You gotta try that weapon out. And the world just looked incredibly detailed and lush. So like, this is I'm ready. Like, I love Far Cry, I'm ready for this next one.
Yeah.
More than AC Valhalla, only because like I've played Odyssey and other ones. I'm more pumped for Far Cry.
Yeah, this is my bread and butter right now. It's my cup of tea.
Dude,
Yeah. So with that being said, right? So now we're done with the Ubisoft event.
That's Ubi. They ended with Far Cry 6.
Right, they ended with Far Cry
shebang.
6. Yeah, they ended with the bang. So, that's what we had to look forward to. So we were waiting. So one other event that I was looking forward to that actually took place the day before was the Devolver Digital event, right? And so when I first got introduced to the event, I thought that it was literally just a Shadow Warrior 3 game reveal. They showed me the trailer. I loved the trailer because it looked like it was like a game that I wouldn't have to take serious. Like, it was just about action, run and gun. It seemed funny. It looked like like, I guess
Deadpool,
like an Asian Deadpool or something like that. Because that's it was set in that type of area. But yeah, so Shadow Warrior 3. I tune into the Devolver Digital. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was just freaking lost at what they were trying to show us in this event. Like, the whole acting scenarios that they were putting in place before and after each of the games that they revealed, which they revealed more games than just Shadow Warrior 3. So I didn't even know about that. I thought it was just Shadow Warrior 3. But I didn't like it at all. Yeah. Like, I thought that the acting was horrible. I thought the script writing was terrible. There was so much cussing in it that I couldn't just watch it at home with my kids around, like, out loud. I had to like dang near mute it or put on headphones.
It's crazy.
I was just so confused.
Right.
Like, I'm okay with, like, a little bit of swear words here and there or whatever. I swear, so but it's like in the game or whatnot. That's fine. But I felt like they were just like blatantly just throwing everything out there that they could possibly do to like make it like rude, like on some Conquer type stuff, but like even worse. The
Devolver Digital conferences are supposed to be spoofs on real conferences.
Okay.
So every year I watch them. They're just they make a mockery of the conference concept. So
just to make fun of it.
They're making fun of it. So when you see all that, you're right. It's supposed to be terrible. And it's all satire, right? And they do reveal their games in that conference, but the conference is supposed to be a joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you aren't misunderstanding. Like that's what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be good, right? It's supposed to be like a satire on game conferences. They make a mockery of it.
Yeah, they did it.
They did
They
it.
did it.
Anyways, like, but Shadow Warrior 3, what did you think of it?
From what I was seeing, it looked like it was a fun game. It looked like it was a bit gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like they were trying to incorporate like some Doom or something
definitely.
like that.
Yeah.
In with that,
Bingo.
so it looked interesting. So I definitely want to see like more gameplay on that, just to get like a better idea of like what's going on with the story and different things. But like, how'd you feel, Markariah?
So I went and downloaded Shadow Warrior 2 on Game Pass.
I want to play that.
It was
Just
for
to-
free?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so
Okay.
you can try it out there.
Mhm.
All right.
Compared to 2, the graphics are incredible. So they did a good job. This game looks beautiful. The gameplay looks really fun. I like where you use, you could wall run. You got your grappling hook to pull in your enemies. It reminded me of Doom with, your shotgun. You're shooting people up. The enemies look varied. I saw some massive guys. So, yeah, it reminded me of, like, kind of like a reskinned Doom. You said the character was kind of like Deadpool. It did remind me. He was very, humorous.
Mhm.
Had
Right.
a lot of
His
jokes.
quirkiness.
Yeah.
So it does seem like a cool, chill game to just play. I don't think it's multiplayer. I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
I
But
think they had addressed something about it, and I think they said that they weren't going.
That's
to
crazy
play
because
around.
it's perfect for multiplayer, I think.
yeah,
Uh,
but I mean, I think this game, it looked good. It looked good.
Yeah, it reminded me of Doom meets Borderlands because it's loot collector,
right.
and you have like all the different guns, and there's different rarities of the guns, which is dope. Like that's my thing,
Yeah.
right? And so
That's
that I
awesome.
haven't played the other Shadow Warrior is kind of interesting to me. Like I hadn't even like really heard of this one when we talked about
I feel like
it.
I'm out of the loop on
Yeah, it's
Shadow
like
Warrior
what in the
general.
world? Like why haven't I heard of this? Because this is definitely something I would play.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I love the loot chasers and getting the cool loot and the cool new guns, and like so yeah, I agree 100% with you guys. This felt like Doom. I just throw Borderlands in there because it is a loot chaser
Yeah.
where Doom
Yeah.
is kind of like that, but there's like,
And-
this has rarities.
And Borderlands is humorous too.
Yeah, and
just like
Borderlands is
this.
humorous. So like for me, that's what this felt like. So I'm excited for this. It's not a day one,
No.
Nah.
but I can see
I think
myself.
we can do a unanimous agreement that it's
Yeah.
not a day one.
It's
buy.
not a day one buy. It looks fun. I can see myself playing it though at the right price or free, like on Game Pass.
yeah.
I can see myself absolutely dumping some time into this game.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark or Marcus?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's definitely not a day one for me.
Right.
It's something that I would probably get eventually just because I thought it seemed fun. And especially if there's a drought in games that are
For
out
sure.
or whatnot, for
Perfect,
it being
yeah.
a next gen system, there are going to be droughts.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time. So yeah, that's definitely one that I'll probably end up eventually getting for sure. It's just a matter of how much I'm paying for it.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's
Mm.
between never buy and buy at some point.
Okay.
Just because I'm not seeing anything that I never saw before.
Okay.
Mhm.
Doom, I played it on Game Pass. Shadow Warriors 2, I briefly played it on Game Pass.
Okay. See, I haven't played Doom,
I haven't
Doom's
played
incredible.
Doom.
so that's one
So-
Doom
reason
Eternal,
why.
right?
like,
Is that what you're referring to?
so
either
I,
Doom.
either
right?
so I played all the Dooms from the first ones on PC. So I'm a Doom, Quake, all those type of game big fan.
Right.
So I would rather play Doom than this, but
Hmm.
the style and the humor is intriguing to me. So I want to
Right.
see more of that.
Not quite. Sold
To me,
yet, though.
that would be the main selling point of this game. Is it going to be as funny as Borderlands? Probably not. But if the combat is anywhere close to Borderlands, then I'll definitely love this game because I was late to the Borderlands party, but I went back and played the first one,
Great game.
the Handsome
So much fun.
Great
Collection.
game.
So much
I'm playing
fun.
3 now, but
Yeah.
I really like the Borderlands. So if this is
Yeah.
anywhere close to Borderlands,
It
then I will
gets
definitely play this
at
game.
some point, right?
But-
yeah.
If it's not, then I'll go back and play Borderlands again.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, we do talk about other things other than PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. PC has some news, right, Mark?
Yeah.
So
there's 2 games we want to briefly go on. So first we'll talk about Shadowlands, a World of Warcraft Shadowlands
Yeah.
expansion. So they did confirm that they're still on track for a 2020 release. So I would say that's really good news because a lot of games are kind of getting pushed back
because
this
of COVID.
year.
Yeah.
And World of Warcraft is always great to play, during the winter season, downtime at home, playing with your family and friends. To me, that's very iconic for World of Warcraft to release an expansion, in September, October, November time and play with your family and friends. So we're on track, guys, with the Shadowlands.
I'm excited for Shadowlands. I re-upped my WoW subscription because Shadowlands got me excited.
Did you?
Have you been watching any beta gameplay?
No, I don't like having things spoiled really to a degree. Sometimes it just depends on the game. If it's a game that I know I'm going to play, I don't like having it spoiled. If it's a game that I'm not sure about playing, then I need to collect more information on, and then I'll have some things spoiled for me. But I knew I was going to play Shadowlands. Like, I already know it. At least at some point in time, I'm going to play Shadowlands. What got me excited for Shadowlands was Torghast, the new single-player...
the roguelike experience.
Yes. Yeah. I liked it because they said you can gear your character out entirely through doing Torghast. You even get legendary gear. So for me, it's like that's what I've been waiting for as an individual. I've kind of, moved away from multiplayer. I'm more of a single player kind of guy right now, and World of Warcraft was always like the massive multiplayer. You couldn't really
do
much on your own.
You needed friends, right? Like you couldn't really do it. You needed a guild. You needed to be a part of a community,
right?
And I get that that's what that game is. Like I get it's a multiplayer game, but for me it's just harder. So if they want to get someone like me to come into play, I always wish they had just given me an avenue, right? Like even if it's not quite as good as like going to the 25-man raid or the heroic or mythic raid.
Just another option.
Give me an avenue. Someone doesn't have a lot of friends that necessarily play the game, or maybe they did a long time ago, but they don't anymore. And I'm not in the mood to make new friends, right? I just kind of want to play it because I like World of Warcraft. So that excited me. And also, I was doing some research too because you had mentioned the PC news. They're moving away from the grindy things too, right? Like there's no more like Azerite grind, those types of.
Collect 25 of these,
like
kill 20 of these.
They're trying to move away from the grindy feel, which I think is a great direction to go, and make it feel more meaningful. Like the things you do are more meaningful, so it's a little bit more in your control.
To fit like a story or something like that?
Yeah, so the things you do feel more, not grindy, but meaningful.
Yeah, I love the grind. That's part of why I like MMOs. But with the new era of WoW, with all the quality of life enhancements, all the easy modes, I'm going to call them welfare epics, I would say it makes sense to make things less grindy because it's kind of contradictory. When all your elements of the game are easier, this is the new style of gameplay. So I don't mind these kind of changes.
I don't think it's about them making it like easier, but
it's always accessible, and accessibility
it's just
equals ease.
It's what you're doing is more purposeful or meaningful,
pleasing,
or even pleasing. Yeah, like I've always felt like, okay, it takes more work, right? So just because something feels more enjoyable to do doesn't mean it's any less time consuming. Like that, yeah. What I mean by grindy is the cheap, simplistic way of making you collect things. That I don't like. I think it's lazy. I think it's a little unfair because they don't want to take the time to make it, a more elaborate system for you to collect things,
or to have more items.
Right. So they're trying to go away from that lazy direction. I think is a better way of describing it. Like, so I don't want you to think like it's getting like casual, right? I think they're casualizing WoW.
Yeah, because the game's already been casual for a while.
They have casualized it quite a bit, but it's not getting like even more casual now, right? Where like it's not Borderlands casual. It's just they're making the things you do more purposeful.
Okay.
More the point you're doing them is like more, so it's more in depth, right? So it feels more meaningful that you want to do it. I don't want to go, and run from point to point to point just to collect the Azerite balls or to kill that one creature just to collect my Azerite. I get to feel a little bit more meaningful. So I think they're trying to innovate their game in that way, and I'm excited for that.
And I'm glad for them to get rid of Azerite armor because that is the, for the lack of a better word, stupidest thing I've played through. I really disliked Azerite armor. It wasn't creative to me at all.
I loved corruption armor.
The corruption.
You guys have to fill me in on what you're referring to.
So in the last in the current expansion, Battle for Azeroth, they added a new type of armor called Azerite armor. So they're chest pieces, helmets, shoulders, and they're is a
They're
like a
locked.
ring
There's
system.
like talents
where
locked.
There's talents within your armor.
Uh-huh.
So there's an outer ring, you choose an ability. There's a smaller ring, you choose an ability.
Okay.
But it's kind of random because your helmet and your chest can have the same Azerite ability. They weren't necessarily unique to the slot, but they were kind of unique to the ring that they're on.
Okay.
So it was just really dumb to me that I'm collecting my armor and then I'm choosing abilities. In I guess theory, you can say it sounds cool.
More
but
RNG too.
In practice, it wasn't
yeah,
cool.
I always remember WoW having RNG gear.
Yeah, like
anyways
so
to
it's
begin
one
with.
thing to get the piece you need, but now it's not the right piece because it doesn't have the right rings I'm looking for
Oh, so
to
now it's
optimize
even
my
more
character
RNG
to
than
yes,
before.
it's even more
Oh,
RNG than
okay.
before.
That's
which
just
I did not
frustrating
like.
then.
Yeah, so it didn't feel right.
The corruption gear, on the other hand, I really like. It's one affix, so it's not like 4 or 5 affixes you're trying
just
to
a different
line up
stat.
perfectly.
Mhm.
It's just an additional, and it's like a cool ability. It's like you get
Okay.
an additional ability, but it's a passive ability, so you don't have to click a button to activate it.
Okay.
And but with taking that ability, there's an offset of corruption, right? So if you get it, then you have a corruption meter, and if the meter gets too high, negative things happen to you,
Yeah.
right? But the affection is so cool that you want to get those pieces of because not every gear is corrupted, so you
Yeah.
have to pick and choose.
Okay.
How many pieces of corrupted gear do I want to have on my character to offset the corruption meter? Right,
Okay.
but I want to have these abilities. So what's the balance?
So
And you
they're
have
dope abilities, but they
they're
come with
dope
negative
ability,
effects.
but they come with negative effects.
And you
so
can level
That's
up your
cool.
cloak.
it is cool. It is
Yeah,
cool.
you can level
Yeah.
up your cloak to kind of mitigate some of that.
Right, and you can level up a piece of your gear to give you corruption resistance.
Okay.
So you can resist some of those negative effects on your meter, even to the point where if you get your cloak high enough, you can like completely mitigate an
Yeah.
entire affix effect
Wow.
and get that whole effect
But it
for
takes
free.
a while to
But it
get
takes
that.
a while. That's the grindy aspect.
So
of
I
it.
like,
But it's kind
that.
of a funner grind because
yeah.
you go into like an instance world and you do like a mission, and that gives you. So that's the kind of grind I'm fine with because the mission is
It's fun.
rewarding. You're
You do it
collecting
every
as you're in
day.
there. You're collecting fun stuff in there. You're getting stuff. You're rewarded after you're done with it. That I'm fine
But
with
yeah,
that grind.
leveling up your Azerite necklace, that was kind
That
of
wasn't
more
fun at
boring.
all.
Just, all right,
That
I'm
was
getting
not fun.
thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of Azerite. It's not necessarily fun, and it didn't really
Right.
contribute to your Azerite gear that much. You just leveled. You had a higher level, so you can get more sockets. I feel like the cloak method was way better.
Right.
But yeah, so we're excited for Shadowlands.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
I
be-
have nothing to add on
No,
that just because
you're
it's
not
been
a WoW
a
guy in
while
a
since
while,
I
yeah.
played
Yeah.
WoW. And the one thing that I disliked about WoW was that you needed to have friends to play it,
Yeah.
and without them, it was just a boring
Yeah, I mean that's the
experience
purpose
for
of the
me.
game.
For
Yeah.
me, it was a boring experience.
No, I was the same.
Yeah.
Like I haven't played WoW in years, right? But when I saw Shadowlands coming out with that single player Torghast, it's a tower.
Okay.
So you go up the tower,
yeah.
right? Kind of like Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Right? You go up the tower, and the higher up the tower you get, the better the loot.
Okay.
And then you redo that. When you die or lose, you just redo that.
Restart it.
And it's
Do you get to
also-
keep the stuff that you?
Yeah, you keep
Okay.
the stuff you collected.
But it
the
has
items
random
collected.
elements, like for example, like Rogue Legacy. When you start the game, there's different, depending on your class and what abilities you have.
Yeah.
It's like that in Torghast too.
Okay.
As you progress, you can modify and get enhancements for your spells.
Have you ever
Nice.
played Binding of Isaac?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I think I might have attempted to play.
So
it,
think
but
of
I
it
didn't
maybe
really play it
like
that much.
Dead Cell. You
Yeah,
enter the
okay.
world and you get abilities. So you get abilities that are only for that run,
Right.
but then there are certain things that you can collect that you take
That
to
will
with
be
you to the next
permanently-
that are permanent with you,
Okay.
just
Yeah,
like Dead
The
Cell.
tower gets harder and harder, but you get abilities that make you stronger and stronger. So the
Essentially
higher
like
you go,
Dauntless that we played last night on the live stream.
No, it's
No.
more like Dead Cell. So like in Dead
Okay.
Cell, you're like when you start your run, you're like, oh, dope. I hope you're like, I want these certain items and these certain things to drop for me.
Yeah.
But
You
every
get to pick
run,
and choose.
every run's
Everyone's
different,
different.
Yeah.
right? So every time you fire up a new run of Dead Cells, it's going to be a whole new set of gear that you get to use.
Right.
And you're hoping for certain ones, right? And when everything lines up perfectly, right, all the stars align, and you get all these dope abilities, you have this really
Yeah.
long push, and you make it really far. Like that's what this is like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we're excited for this. So we'll touch
Mhm.
on this more in the future. When maybe there's an open beta or
Mhm.
when closer to launch.
We'll come back. We'll
definitely
revisit this
touch
for
on
sure.
Yeah.
And
maybe
one-
it's enough for me to jump in.
Yeah,
check
the
it
single
out.
player is really
See
cool.
what's
Like,
going
you would
on.
probably really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just something to do on your own that you don't really need friends to do, and it looks fun. You can still build your character up, so it is exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
And one thing too, I mentioned this in a previous podcast, is New World, the MMO
Yes,
from Amazon.
Okay.
So this was a pretty hyped game, and I don't want to talk about it too much because the only thing to say is that it was supposed to come out in August,
Wow.
and they just pushed it back to spring of 2021.
Wow.
They
So-
just pushed it back.
They just pushed it back last week.
Okay.
So it was originally supposed to come out this month. Then they pushed it to August, and now they pushed it to spring 2021. The reason being is because the feedback that they got from their internal testing, because it is in alpha testing right now, I guess there wasn't enough to do at endgame. So it was it's a $39.99 no subscription MMO. So we weren't expecting everything out of this game.
Mhm.
Right.
But they claimed there wasn't enough to do, so they're pushing it back. So I personally, got a refund. I pre-ordered it on Steam, so I put a request in to get a refund, just
Okay.
because I feel like in 2021 spring we
Are
have
you
next
even gonna be
gen.
worried about it?
We have next gen. We
Yeah.
have so many good games that are to be
I
coming
know.
out
Right.
right now. It's COVID. It's kind of that weird phase before all the next gen comes out.
Mhm.
So, we're willing to, personally, I'm willing to try games that I wouldn't normally try. I'm willing to, spend on some games right now because
Right.
we're at home. But, next year with next gen and potentially, all of the restrictions being lifted, a game like this, I don't really see. I think it's missing its mark.
They're doing the right thing by having the low point of entry and no subscription. That makes me want to try it.
Mhm.
I thought this was supposed to be kind of game changing, this New World. There
Yeah.
was a lot of hype. It's supposed to change the game. It didn't look that way to me. The
Sadly,
visuals
no.
I saw didn't seem to meet that description.
Probably why they pushed it back.
It's
right?
probably why they pushed it back. It's not quite done yet.
Right.
That's my opinion. It didn't look. It was a lot of hype for this game, and then
Yeah.
it didn't meet the expectations for me. But the point of entry makes it still. Even if it's not that great, I'd probably still give it a shot, especially with the fellas.
Mhm.
When it's only $39.99 and that's free subscription, that's something I might look into trying.
Yeah, totally.
Next summer.
Yeah. So the one of the last things we wanted to talk about, right, was some of that riveting new information that we got. That they were deciding to start production very soon on Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live action, adaptation of Uncharted.
Yeah.
And,
Sony's doing that one. They're
Right.
making that movie.
And we have Tom Holland playing as Drake. So I like Tom Holland. I have nothing against him, and they're going young. So
I don't
that's
like
for
the-
longevity.
I don't like them going young.
You don't like
That's
them
my
going young?
problem. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not happy with that casting. For one, I don't think he looks anything like Nathan Drake. I mean, Nathan Drake.
They'll probably color his hair black, right?
To me, Nathan Drake is a middle-aged man, like late 30s, 5 o'clock shadow, gruffy, tough, grim kind of guy. Attractive, handsome-looking guy, but
Yeah.
tough and gritty because, he's an explorer.
He's been through some stuff.
He's been through some stuff.
Right.
And Tom Holland doesn't fit that at all. Tom Holland is like a high schooler to me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the world? Nathan Drake's a man, dude. Like, Nathan Drake's a tough dude. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not feeling it at
I
all.
agree with you. But I said the same thing about the person that they cast for The Witcher when I first seen him, and then
Henry
when
Cavill?
yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure about him.
He looked like a little bit like him to me.
You look like you
yeah,
could fit
exactly.
the
He
bill.
looked
But
But when I
fit,
saw him,
yeah.
okay,
I
maybe that's a
agree.
bad.
I agree,
Right.
But
Marcus.
for me, I didn't see him as a Witcher. I didn't see him as a good. But when I saw him as the Witcher, I was like, holy cow, that was perfect. So
Yeah.
for this guy, we'll see. For me personally, I'll after we maybe see some more footage or
Yeah, we have to see some footage, right? I
after we
didn't
see how he
anything.
is, I'm sure he could grow something.
See,
I'm sure.
Right.
I think more like a Carl Urban type.
You'd have to show me.
Carl
what it looks
Urban.
like.
Yeah, Carl Urban. Did you ever see the new Dredd, Judge Dredd?
Oh, yeah.
Nah, it's
Um,
been a while. I don't think I did watch
Like,
that.
this is who I think of for like Nathan Drake. Like, I think like a Carl
Oh,
Urban
yeah.
type guy.
Oh,
see
okay,
that. I
that's
see
Like
that. I see
that's what
that.
that's what my mind jumps to,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
like who's another guy that I was thinking? What's his name?
So
Colin Eaglesfield. You ever heard of that guy?
yeah, I don't know. I'd have
um,
to see his face.
Colin Eaglesfield is like that. Like that's Colin Eaglesfield.
Okay,
like
his
a Tom
face kind of
Cruise.
does look a little bit more like Nathan Drake's in a
Yeah.
sense, but
Like Colin Eaglesfield, like you see,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's like a Tom Cruise looking type guy is who I would kind of think to play Nathan Drake, not a kid.
Right.
Like,
but
I'm sorry, like the reason why Tom Holland was casted for Spider-Man is because he
Popular.
looks like a high schooler. He looks that way,
And he did a great
right?
job in
He did a
Spider-Man.
great job in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'm not taking
he's
anything
Spider-Man
away.
to me. Like,
I'm not.
fits the bill.
Yeah, he's Peter Parker, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from his ability,
Right.
or his talent, or how well he did in Spider-Man. I just don't think he's a good fit for Nathan Drake. That's weird to me. I don't get that direction unless they're trying to rebrand Nathan Drake to a younger audience. I don't know.
Well,
But that's not Nathan Drake
what
to me.
time in the franchise does this take place? Like, where did they say anything about the backstory?
When I was reading the little article, I didn't see anything that spoke much about anything. They just said, "Hey, Uncharted is getting worked on. They're going to start production very soon, and here's who we got as Nathan Drake."
Because I could see if this was like a
Prequel?
it takes place, a prequel potentially. But you make a good point.
My
If
problem-
it's in its current state, he doesn't. You're right. He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't
Fit-
fit
doesn't
that
bill, right?
But if
Yeah.
this is him in college, or I don't know if this is him before,
Like,
we'll see.
if it's a prequel or college, fine, but you'll never get to modern because you can't wait 10, 20 years for Tom
I
to
see what
grow
you're saying.
up.
He's like
So
20
it
something.
will always be, but Nathan Drake is
like he
clearly
probably
like
has a 5 o'clock
34.
shadow.
34 or 35. I don't
Yeah.
even think Tom Holland can grow a 5 o'clock shadow, man.
Nah, he probably shaves.
I
Dude
doubt
probably
it.
shaves, man.
I doubt it, actually.
Well,
But you're going to be stuck in the prequel world,
Yeah.
which is, if that's what they're doing, like what they did with Star Trek, right? How they like rebooted Star
Oh, yeah.
Trek and
or
like
X-Men.
or X-Men, you're stuck in the prequel world.
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna do that, fine. But if you're going modern Nathan Drake, Tom Holland don't fit the
Yeah.
bill.
Good point. Good
Yeah,
point.
I
You're
mean, I see what you guys are saying, and I agree as far as looking at Nathan Drake, how we see him in the last,
Right.
couple of games, like that's him.
Right.
But I feel like because they did go back into Nathan Drake's memories and show you young Nathan Drake, I feel like that's what they're gonna start with. I feel like they can open the gate with this one, and they can periodically go back into it whenever, and it's just like, oh, this is what Nathan Drake did as a young guy, and
Yeah.
it's like, like I like Tom Holland, so, and
Yeah.
I like Nathan
I like him
Drake
too.
and all the stuff that was Uncharted. It's like anytime I can get like a like a National Treasures type of movie or something like that, some type of treasure seeking, movie, like I'm all for it. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely interested to see what they're gonna bring to the equation and whatnot.
You're not writing it off. I'm just
yeah.
disappointed.
Right, yeah. So my main thing would be like, who they pick for Sully, because that's gonna be a big part of the movie, so
Sully shouldn't. I guess he'll be really young too, then, right? Because we're going all
He
the way
would be a
back
lot
to college,
younger, yeah,
right?
but
I don't
Sully's
even know when does he meet Sully. We don't
Yes,
even know when he gets
Sully's
that relationship.
an older man.
Yeah,
so,
I don't even know when we get to meet that. When does that relationship start, right?
But yeah, so I mean, when we hear some more information about Uncharted, we're definitely gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely keep that on the back burners and whatnot. But with all that being said, you know what I mean. There's a lot of things to look forward to next week. And there's a lot of
Game
games.
Fest.
We're
Yeah.
definitely eventually gonna
Lot of
get to
demos.
talking about Ghost of Tsushima. It's now that we've played it a little bit. So
Last of Us review 2, if we can, our own personal review. It's late, but we would
right.
definitely get
yeah,
that on
it's gonna be a
board.
little bit late, but we'll get there. It'll be all right.
But
Yeah. So with that being said, right, I'm Godly Sovereign,
This is Markariah.
this is Ray, aka SirKnight.
and we appreciate you guys listening, watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitch. We each have Twitch streaming with our same names. Check out our Discord. Our website is lit and going. Is there anything else?
That's it.
Yes. We'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
Peace.
See you.